What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back today with another live stream. We got to talk about these AFC NFC championship games. I am so disappointed in Detroit and Baltimore. I am. Man, I picked ball. Number one. I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes anymore. I'm done with that. I did it like 3 weeks in a row, and he beat me every time. I mean, it is what it is. I got to give it up for. Hey, and as far as the mini GOAT debate or him being better than Brady or whatever, last time I checked, 2 rings versus 7. I mean, that's always been the standard, right? So go ahead, just calm it down. Patrick is the best right now, the best ever. He has a long way to go. But man, Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore panic. Let's call it what it is. Baltimore panic. And John Harbaugh, when someone asks you why did you throw the ball so much and not run the football after you led the league in rushing, it just worked out that way. It's not. I don't like that response. That's not good enough. I'm not even a Baltimore fan. That's not good enough for me. It just worked out that way. How did it work out that way? You dropped back on 82% of your snaps on offense. How? Running backs touched the ball 6 times. How does that happen? And then Detroit. 27-0, and you got to take the points, Dan Campbell. I like Dan Campbell, but you have to take the points. You got to take the points. Throw the sheet away, throw all the stuff away, throw all the analytics away, get the nerds off the field, take the points, man. But I got my co-host with me, Mr. John Reed. We're going to talk some football today. How you feeling today, sir?
Feeling good, man. You know, that problem is analytics, man. That's
awful.
I think that's the root of bad sports right now. I don't know what it is, how much influence do the analytic people have over head coaches, but I think it started with baseball and it's done transcended in this way to basketball, football, college, or whatever. And it's done drastically changed the decision making of coaches.
Yes. Yeah, it really has. It absolutely has. It has changed the game. I mean, they're making decisions. Like, okay, being aggressive is one thing. Like, okay, Kansas City was aggressive. I think it was third and like a couple yards, and all they needed was a first down to end the game. Seeming like you're gonna hand the ball off to Pacheco. That's what the play is. No, they don't. Right. They go deep to Valdez-Scantling. He catches the ball. Which is, everybody jokes about that because he had dropped a few, but he catches the ball, they get the first down, and the game is over. That's aggressive. That's being aggressive. Yeah. Not going for it on fourth down when you don't have to, and you're up by like 17 points. Take the points. Take the points because the momentum flipped after that moment for Detroit. It did. And the whole Brock Purdy debate, yes, Brock Purdy has been getting a lot of hate. Brock Purdy, I think, is good enough for them to win a title with. He is. He's not the best in the league. He has had a really good season. He's a good football player. I would say he's definitely in the upper half of quarterbacks. But, as far as, his talent level, how he is, it really doesn't matter as long as he don't turn the ball over and he manages the game, which – somehow game manager has gotten a negative connotation over the years for whatever reason. Game manager doesn't mean that they're not good.
Oh, no, man. I think we live in an era right now that we overanalyze. I mean, I'm old enough to know what Roger Staubach was, and I know that he was a game manager. But it don't take away his greatness. Or a friend talking to you can go down the list. I mean, most of the quarterbacks in that era, they were game managers, but doesn't take away his greatness. Doesn't take away that he's a Hall of Famer. And I don't know, Brandon. I'd rather have a guy that's not going to put the ball on the ground. He's going to manage the game when I need to make plays, whether he uses his arm or his feet, his legs to get me a first down or move the chain and the sticks. I don't care what he is, as long as he can get me to the end zone. So, but I think we live in an era now where we classify, we overanalyze, we classify, and I think that's even with this analytics. You can't play postseason football the same way that you play regular season football. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah,
you can throw out the. I mean, the only thing I think he has a basis of analytics on going into that game was based on what happens in the regular season, and you basing it on your coin flip and what's the odds of this, but you basing that on regular season stuff. And I think he made a bad decision. I know 4th and 1, he's got one of the best offensive lines in the country. I mean, in the country, in the league. But when you need to put 3 points on them, I mean, you got to know what the game. You got to know what you need, how many points you're down, how do you manage the game as a football coach, not as an analytic analysis.
Yeah.
You don't take points off the board, man. You if you don't get 7 on that try, get 3, then try again and do that, but based on your defense. But over aggressive, I believe he was, and I think some people say, well, that's the way he did it during the regular season, also. And look at their record, but you can't. It's a whole completely different situation when you're playing to get to the Super Bowl. I go back to 2017. I know we don't like to go back, but we go back. Yes. And I thought even the Jaguars changed the way they changed. They
went conservative.
They went conservative. They didn't play. You had the 2 best cornerbacks in as far as one-on-one cover guys, and you played zone. And hey, you go against Brady, he'll pick you apart and find a weakness. Same thing. Didn't do it in the regular season, but you did it in that game. Same thing with Detroit. Is that growing pains? Yeah, I think he learned his lessons as a coach, and I think they learned his lessons as a football team. That, man, sometimes you just got to throw that paper away. Doesn't matter what the odds and how many times it worked and how many times it didn't. You got to go with your hunch. And he didn't. And Baltimore, I don't know what to say, man. I just thought maybe it was the offensive coordinator trying to change who Lamar Jackson is. I don't know what it is. But that team did not play the way it played, obviously, against Houston. But I thought they played timid. I thought they played didn't play to win. I mean, it was anybody.
They were pressing.
Pressing.
Yeah, the coaches too. Pressing.
Yeah. And they just didn't open up the offense, man. I mean, when you got a talent like Lamar Jackson, sometimes I just think, man, just don't worry about the playbook. Let him go in the game. Use his hunch. Use what his talent is. If he got to ad-lib, let him ad-lib. I don't see him ad-lib. But keep the ball in his hand. Let him control the game, not the playbook, not the offensive coordinator. And you let him utilize what he feels is going to work. And I just thought I don't know. It just seemed like he was playing quarterback with his hands tied behind his back to me. It's like they were too conservative.
They were too conservative. Too conservative. And on play action, I think I forgot how many play action passes they ran. They didn't run many play action because they didn't run the football with running backs a lot. But on the times that they did do play action, he had 133 yards and a touchdown.
And let me say
that's majority of his yards. Go ahead.
Didn't his team lead the league in rushing?
Yes.
And what they had?
Yes, it did.
I think they had 16 carries. I mean,
6 attempts by the running backs. 6
attempts by the running backs.
Yes.
Boy, that's a recipe for loss.
Yes.
And you got to give some credit to the Kansas City defense, but man, you did not do what your strength is is running.
Hey, and then this is after giving up 182 yards on the ground to Buffalo. How can you watch that film and go, we gonna run heavy? I went run heavy.
Yeah.
And Lamar could have controlled the game from that aspect. Run heavy. We'd have been handing the ball off. Gus Edwards should have been tired. Gus Edwards should have been looking like Ricky Williams if he had 50 carries in the game. That's what he should have been looking like.
This team used all type of power sets, double tight ends, and I don't know, man. Sometimes you can do. I always say this, man. Football. Believe it or not, folks, football is a simple game. Now, when you go in and you got a playbook with 200 plays and you react on every situation. If they're looking like they're blitzing, you got 9 different formations. And sometimes I think in this sport, probably more than any other sport, you can over prepare.
Yes.
And you can over as a team's strength when all you got to do is do what you do. I mean, it's all about blocking and tackling. That ain't no other thing than that. You block, you get your receivers open, you make chunk plays and do what you need to do on that end. But the bottom line is you got to block and you got to tackle. It don't get no simpler than that.
The lines, man.
Yeah,
there's nothing more important than the lines. Nothing moves without the lines on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I didn't think they were physical. I thought they were, they played like they were. I don't know. They played like they were playing the 75 Steelers to me. It just seemed like they were too concerned about Kansas City for one reason. I don't know. Maybe it was the opening drive. They drove the ball down the throat on that opening drive and they scored. I don't know what it was. They seemed like they didn't appear to be a team that know how to come from behind. And it's, I'm looking at the score. It's like, man, what they had 17 points. It ain't like the game was out of reach.
At no point was the game out of reach. But I will say this: at 14-7, when Kansas City scored and it was 14-7, I was like, Baltimore's not winning this game, just based on how they were playing and the funk that they were in. I was like, they're not coming out of this. Whatever this is, they're not coming out of it. And I don't have faith in them coming back. And it was 14-7. And I was like, this game is pretty much over. And I had called it then.
Yeah. It's mental, man. You gotta. If the coach don't believe, then the players don't believe. If the players don't believe, you can't win. But I was surprised by Baltimore, man. They answered every challenge, literally during the season. Come in as a number 1 seed, and they played like they're a little. To me, they're a little intimidated. Like they gave too much. Like they were in a little. Played like a little in awe of these guys. That Patrick Mahomes is going to find a way to win. And, one problem I thought on defense is, man, you got to give – I don't care how great the safety from Notre Dame is. I mean, you still got to give them some help.
Kyle Hamilton. Yeah, he's excellent player. But, yeah, you still got to give him some help. Yeah, you
give him some help. And
then I'm not one of those people, I'm not about to, go there like that. But, you have to bring it up because it is part of the game. The reps were subpar once again, but they've been like that all year. So none of that was a shock how, officiating played out in either game, because most of the year officiating was subpar in the NFL across the board. Everybody from every team had a right to complain at some point, but with that being said, Kansas City got away with a few things, especially you want to talk about taunting. Like they gave that hit Zay Flowers with the taunting penalty. Travis Kelce did the exact same thing, the exact same thing, but it's Zay Flowers versus Travis Kelce. Hey, different strokes for different folks. It's what it is. Same with offensive linemen and holding, man. Jawan Taylor and was it Donald Jones, whatever. Hey, Nick Bosa was right. They talking about he giving bulletin board materials, but Nick Bosa spoke his mind. He told the truth. They hold a lot. They do. They hold a lot. A lot.
They try to be slick about it, but they do hold. Especially Jawan, where he was holding a lot when he was playing here. But then they get leverage on you, and then they'll get their arm underneath your shoulder pads, which is a hold. They See it all the time.
Yeah.
It ain't just Jawan. It's the guard, the left tackle. The right tackle.
What up, Joe?
Left tackle.
Yeah. But, he said you never leave it to the refs, though. I agree. Officiating was bad. You never leave it to the refs, though. That's the only thing. That's the thing. When I do bring up the refs and you do bring up what they've done, regardless of how the game went as far as officiating goes, you don't leave it in the hands of the refs. You do what you have to do so the game doesn't come down to them, determining the game. It's on you if you allow them to determine the game. So I do believe in that. And he say Jawan Taylor is a walking holding false start. It's yeah.
No, he was that way here. The one I would like for Baltimore, and I know their reputation is physical, defensive-minded franchise. They lived and died with that defense. I wish they could come out with another mindset where they can just outscore teams, dominate offense, put as many points on the board as possible. I don't care what you do, reverses, whatever. To me, I still feel that Baltimore, when you look at the rosters, they have more, particular offensive talent than I feel Kansas City has. Kansas City got two players, the Mahomes and Travis Kelce. That's it.
Yeah.
I like the running back. I like, he's a hard runner.
Pacheco's nice.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice is going to be good going forward. I think he's a great young receiver, so he's going to be good going forward. But as far as bona fide and bread and butter, that's about it. But in Baltimore, I think it's more. I think Baltimore, top to bottom, is not a stretch to say that they had the better roster than Kansas City, top to bottom. You go player for player. That's just what it is. Kansas City's roster is not, like some astronaut, like they just stockpiled with talent. Do you have talented players on that team? Absolutely, you do. You have a few at the key positions, which is why they've been so successful. But let's not forget, they are excellently coached.
Yeah.
Andy Reid and Spagnuolo. Spags is ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
He said, "Do you think Tony out there next season?" Kadarius Toney is done. Yeah, Kadarius Toney might be done in the league. I mean, who's signing up for that?
Man, well, it's the wrong thing he did. He went public and said that he wasn't hurt and all that. Man, you don't do stuff like that. Even if it was the truth, there's another way to handle that situation. And I think Andy Reid said he's part of the preparation for the Super Bowl. But, man, immaturity will get you every time, man. This kid I always say he had great talent. I haven't seen it in a while. He does have great speed. Used to have good hands. Used to could run routes. I don't know what that happened over the last couple of seasons, but this young man need to get really focused on being a pro. I don't think he knows what being a pro. When you leave one franchise and basically they send you away, and then you get a second chance to another franchise. You go from where he was in the Giants and you go to the Chiefs and you get that second chance. And if you fumble the ball on that second chance, it's going to be usually you don't get the third chance. And if you do get it, you're gonna see it with your paycheck that you playing for the veteran minimum. And sometimes guys don't change, man. I don't know what his personality, what his background is, or this is how he rolled. But when you got your career on the line, which his is on the line right now, sometimes it's better to make the change.
And just he hasn't learned a single lesson.
Work.
He hasn't learned a single lesson. Like
publicly speaking, I'm not hurt, and they did this. I mean,
what up, Marcus?
You don't have much leverage. They got the leverage.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And this is the thing. Once the baggage outweighs the talent, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's it.
Which
That's
is
it.
pretty much
Yeah.
where it's at right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Only league I've seen where that I've watched consistently, like football, only other league where once the baggage outweighs the talent and you can still skate by on that and you still got a little bit of a shelf life is in the NBA. Because
Yeah.
it's amazing that Draymond Green is still on an active roster right now. Because he has learned no lessons whatsoever. None. None. But that's another topic and we're gonna get into that. But yeah, Kadarius Toney, this may be it for him.
Yeah.
The change of scenery didn't help. New York was probably one of the worst places for him to go, just it being New York. And now you're in Kansas City, a place where you can thrive. You should be able to thrive. I would assume that you should be able to. And this didn't work for you. So now where would you go from here? Who's going to take on that headache? And who's going to pay you any type of money?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a double whammy.
Yes.
No,
Yes. So
he's still living by being a first round pick, but that's soon gonna be gone. So
that's one of the few reasons he's still in the league. Is that having first round pick attached to your name holds value.
Yep. Up until it's time to get the second contract.
Up until then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Up until then. Yeah. Yeah. Back to Detroit. Marcus say New Orleans will take him. Hey, maybe. I mean, it's a roster out there it's a team out there that will take a chance on him, especially for the right price. He's still young, like you said, he's still fast. Now, as far as playing the receiver position, hands, route running, and all of that, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I ain't seen it in a few years either. But I think the opportunity will be there for him. But until he get his mind right, it's really not going to matter.
Well, yeah, that's it. He'll get an opportunity. The door will be open, and then once he walk in the door, 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes. That's it. He won't even get out of training camp. You can't show up for meetings late. You can't show up for meetings late. You have to retain the information from the meeting to the practice field. You have to catch the ball. You can't be outspoken. Like you can't throw your franchise under the bus. And you gotta get along with teammates. Now, he don't check the box for half of the things I just said.
Yeah. And back to Detroit and Mr. Dan Campbell, who I think is an excellent coach. A guy I would play for. He took some criticism for something that he said. He said that this may have been their only shot, and I understand the criticism that he's gotten for it. It's almost kind of like gloom and doom or whatever, but I think it's real. I think him saying that is real. He spoke the truth. I don't see any lie in that. That possibly might have been their only shot for a long time. It could be. Franchises like the Detroit Lions, let's see, the Cleveland Browns, even the Jaguars in more recent history. Teams that haven't consistently don't consistently win or haven't won anything. Those shots like that come around every now and again. They don't come around like maybe once a decade. Like, man, it's just what it is. For Detroit, it hadn't happened in 30 years. So that's a possibility. And I also agree with him saying that because what's better motivation than to say, hey, that was possibly our only shot? Well, let's prove that wrong. Let's get back to it. We can't sit on our hands. The reason Detroit was even in the NFC Championship game to begin with is because they didn't sit on their hands. Jacksonville went 9-8. Jaguars went 9-8. Detroit Lions went 9-8 the season before, last season. Not this past season, last season. Both went 9-8. Lions missed the playoffs. Jaguars made the playoffs, won a playoff game. Detroit returned 12 of 22 starters. They pretty much turned over half of their starters. Half. Mm-hmm. Jacksonville brought Calvin Ridley in and we're good to go. 9-8. Jacksonville missed the playoffs. Detroit, NFC Championship game. They're not going to rest on their laurels. I think comments like that puts a fire under ownership in Detroit. It puts a fire under management. This is just my personal opinion.
Let me ask you this: when they leaving 27-0?
Yeah, I think it was 24 to 7 or something like that. They were up by at least 17 to 20 points. And they got beat 27-0 in the second half.
Okay. Yeah, they were up, but they were up 24 to nothing, I believe.
I think so.
As I said, it's just the game is simple, man. You can't coach a game in the second quarter and think about the future of the franchise while you holding a three touchdown lead or whatever, a 3-score lead. So you got to coach to the moment, and I thought that he didn't coach to the moment, man. He let the bubble burst in his face, and as we said early on this show, man, you can't let analytics control every decision that you make. You know, you can't. You know, I've seen it in baseball. The Rays, 1 year they had a pitcher, and I think he had gave up two hits through 7 innings, and the guy took him out of the game because based on the history that he usually get tired once they get in the 7th inning. But what that got to do with today?
Yeah.
But I say this about Detroit. I think they got a team right now built to withstand. They got the best. I feel they got the best offensive line in the league. And if you got a physical offensive line like they have, and none of those guys are leaving over the next few seasons, you can build your franchise around that offensive line alone. But what they got to improve on, you got to run the ball. I think they got 2 of the better running backs I've seen in the whole entire playoffs.
Yes.
You got
best duo.
The best duo. At some point, when you nurse in a lead as big as they have, you just want first downs, control the clock, keep their offense off the field, keep the opposing offense off the field. I mean, that's what they needed to do. Keep San Francisco offense off the field, and don't let their quarterback make plays with his feet. But sometimes franchises overreact, and I hope Detroit don't overreact. That, man, we this close, and we got to do this. We got to change this. We got to add this. And I don't think they need to do that. Now, I'm not saying don't be, there's a difference. Backing into the playoffs like our team here did, and then sit on your hands and don't make necessary improvements that everybody in the world know that you need to make. But there's a difference with this team. This team plays with their head coach philosophy. They're physical. They can run the football.
Mm-hmm.
They got a good. They physical on both sides, on the defensive line and the offensive line. And I think if they play that game over again, they might beat San Francisco.
Yeah,
but you can't take. You don't need to show your physical play by going on 4th and 1 when we need to add points to the lead. I think Doug Peterson has the same problem that, you don't have to show the other side how aggressive you is. You showed it already when you're up 24-7. You just trying to manage the game and get out of there.
Yeah.
Give me kick a field goal, add 3 more points, put them in a position that they got to get that many more points to overcome the deficit. But I think he overcoached. I thought he used that analytics too much, and I thought that going on the persona that we this physical team, we got an offensive line, we should be able to get 1 yard. which they should. But hey, I'd rather get 3 points than get 0, and that's
all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the that's the long and the short of it. Let's see, real quick. Marcus say, how do you guys feel about the SEC Big Ten merger that's about to happen?
Yeah,
so I saw, I saw that flash across my notifications, and I was looking more into it after you brought it up because you brought it up, Marcus, because I hadn't looked into it. But it says the Big Ten and SEC announced Friday they are banding together to form a joint advisory group with the goal of addressing the significant challenges facing college sports. The move comes as the NCAA struggles to govern intercollegiate athletics amid a sea of change that has imperiled the long-standing amateur model. The Big Ten and SEC have substantial investment in the NCAA, and there is no question that the voices of our two conferences are integral into governance and other reform efforts. We recognize the similarity in our circumstances as well as the urgency to address the common challenges we face. So, they're forming a board, and I mean, I think that they coming up with a solution for how things are right now. Now, this is the thing that I find funny. The statement that I find funny in this, statement I find funny is the move comes as the NCAA struggles to govern intercollegiate athletics amid a sea of change that has imperiled the long-standing amateur model. Really? Really? Now you doing it? Now so it's a problem now. Everything that's being done in the open was done under the table. It was done in the dark. It was done behind closed doors. The amateur model of college football has been gone. If that's the case, it's been gone. If we being honest, Mr. Reed, it's been gone. Come on, they acting like the transfer portal and the NIL kill college football. No, if that's the case, it's been done.
Yeah. Well, let me say this, man. I think this is this is like the chess game.
Yeah.
And the SEC and the Big Ten is just making the first chess move. They, I think they're putting out this that, this is just a public statement that, we need to have an advisory committee to find the ways of, correcting the wrongs or whatever going on as they see fit. But in reality, these guys, they got the power. SEC got 16 teams and the Big Ten got 18 teams. If you add up the revenue from both, just say they play literally the SEC, the champion from the SEC could play the Big Ten champion, and they could gross. Who knows? I mean, they don't need the NCAA no more. And I think this is the first straw to be united and basically tell the NCAA that if things don't change or things don't improve, we got you on the clock. And if it don't, you don't accommodate our wishes or our concerns, then we're going to break away from you and we're going to form our own league with these 32 teams, 16 from the SEC and 18 from the Big Ten, and we're going to play for our own national championship. And we promise you it'll be bigger than anything that you can formulate. And
two biggest conferences.
And if you really think about it, they literally right now, I mean, when those teams, look at all the teams they got. I wouldn't mind seeing, let's just throw out a name here. Michigan play Texas. Whoever, they two undefeated teams. But these guys, I think college football, if it ain't already, I don't think college football is going to be anything like what we know it is right now. I mean, I think it's going to be controlled by these two conferences. I think that they know what the revenue sources are. That's why they united with these teams. You put the Oklahomas, you put the Texas along with what they already have in the SEC, and you basically for the Big Ten take USC, UCLA, Washington. I mean, when you really look at the TV market between the two conferences, and if those two conferences, just say they become one, which probably going to happen. That's almost in. If you look at they got the South, they got Texas, they got the Southwest, they got all of the South for the SEC. You got all the Northeast, Midwest, and the West Coast for the Big Ten. What television network ain't gonna take that offer?
Right.
I mean, they got the markets. They don't care.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. You were right, because outside of the Big Ten and the SEC, none of those other like the Pac-12, it was a glorious end to the Pac-12. They gave it was a nice run, and it's amazing that their best season as the Pac-12 was their last, because because of Colorado, because of Washington with Michael Penix Jr. Shoot, I've always watched Oregon. I watched a lot of Pac-12 games this past season. I hadn't watched them in a long time, and every game was pretty good. Now they didn't play any defense, so it kind of reminded you of the Big 12. But I mean, the games were good. I mean, just call it what it is. And now you got Texas, Oklahoma going to the SEC, USC, UCLA going to the Big 10. So there's no more Pac-12. You dox Florida State partly because of the conference that they play in, which is the ACC, because you calling it weak, basically. So the ACC is weak. There's no one else. There's no one left. So the Big Ten and the SEC hold all the cards. So you're right. They got the NCAA by the cojones. Like, just call it what it is.
I think before long, I think each one of those conferences, SEC and the Big Ten, might add 1 to 2 more teams. And once they do that, they don't need it. I mean, they don't need them now, but they can go to ESPN and ABC, demand that price, and demand that they want a television contract, and there's nothing they're gonna do but pay it.
Yeah,
that's why Florida State, to be realistic, Florida State understands that they're not a major player until they get either in the SEC or the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And the same for Notre Dame. Because Notre Dame, with these two conferences where they are right now, Notre Dame can't be Notre Dame being an independent anymore. They're going to have to be united with one of these conferences. And I feel for the Clemsons. I feel for the Oklahoma States and whoever else is not either one of these conferences, because their game's going to be almost become meaningless. They almost now, if you look at it.
Yes.
And I don't know what the percentages are, but it takes a lot of money. I mean, I think Deion said something that for a backup, I think he said something on YouTube that in order for you to get a backup offensive lineman out of the portal, it's almost like $5 million for a backup.
Yeah.
And to be honest, TCU ain't gonna have $5 million to pay backups. And those kids that's coming out the portal, they're not gonna be signing with I'll just say UCF, because they from Florida and they was raised in Orlando, and that school can't come up with the money that Michigan can come up with. Yeah, and that's the way it is, man. It's a profession. College, whether you like it or not, college football is becoming professional football.
Yes, no question about it. That's what it is, and exactly what. Yeah, exactly what you said. Hey, now it's a bidding war. That's what it's come down to. $5 million for a backup is insane, but that is the game. That's why Nick Saban made such a ruckus when he said that Texas A&M bought all their players, and he's trying to tell them, like, look, hey, listen, they got the money. They're buying these guys. You want me to build a champion? I need the wallets opened up because I have to buy them. That's it now. That's the game now. You have to buy them. It's been done undercover for so long. Now it's in because that's all. This has always happened. Don't get it twisted. This has always happened. Reggie Bush went to USC not because he loved USC. USC offered the biggest bag. Just call it what it is.
And a house.
And a house. Yeah. hey, what's your boy Eric Dickerson went to SMU because they got him that gold Trans Am. Like, come on, man. This allegedly.
Allegedly, but he was still riding the biggest car in this little town there.
Yeah. This is what it's been. You say, what's up? The Co-Pilots. Check out the Co-Pilots, man. I checked them out the other night. It's a pretty good show. Joe Oliver, Greg Maddox Jr. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. He said that merger would basically be similar to the NFC and the AFC.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and teams that going to have no choice but to join. And he said they think the playoff expansion will help these smaller. That think the playoff expansion would help these smaller conferences teams. To a certain extent, I think it does. It does help them to a certain extent, but now we're on the heels of the Big Ten, SEC coming together to form something greater than themselves. That kills it.
That kills it. They bigger than the 12-team playoff. If they don't like it, they pull out of that 12-team playoff. I'll give you a quick example. Do you think that let's say the second place team in the Big Ten, let's just say Ohio State. Do you think Ohio State going to make money off television? What they just say we're making money based on ratings for the playoff ratings of the games. So if Ohio State get matched up against Oklahoma State, how do you think they're gonna make money?
Yeah.
Now, if Ohio State got matched up against the second place team in the SEC in that playoff format, it'll be more eyes on the tube. These colleges, man, right now, it ain't about playing in the Sugar Bowl or playing in the Orange Bowl. It's notoriety. It's the biggest. I want more eyes on my program. How do I get more eyes on my program? The more eyes I get on my program, the more kids, no matter where. Recruiting ain't about region no more.
No.
The problem with let me bash Florida because Florida is almost the example of a program. When was Urban there? In 2008, whenever they was winning big.
Yeah.
They've gone to that. If Florida don't change the head coach thinking, they got a whole lot of things to change. If they don't change, they're going to be Vanderbilt in the SEC.
Yes,
because they're not in conjunction with the portal. They're not in conjunction, even if they got money around the state, they don't know how to handle those deals. They don't know how to pay the players or the right way to do it, or what is the best way to go in there. You can't win by pride anymore. This is not the way Florida does it.
Yeah.
And then you look at Deion Sanders' program where they done got he done almost signed just as many kids out the portal than he did his first year. Somebody paying him.
Somebody paying him.
Yep. So College football is changing. They might as well just go on and say it's the minor league. It's level 2. Level 1 is NFL. Level 2 is the college football with SEC and Big Ten, because that's where it's going at. And the small and there's the have and the have-nots, and the have-nots is the one going to take the hit. Because those are the teams that's going to be playing in the Gator Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, and these other teams going to be playing for national championships.
Yeah, it's about the haves and the have-nots. It's always been that way. It's always going to continue to be that way. It's just now the price to be one of the haves is a lot higher now.
Yeah, it's a lot higher.
That's just what it is.
And that's why you need television revenue from these big time conferences. And you need to have more eyes on the prize, meaning you got to have eyes on your game, and you got to find revenue streams to support your program, like the Ole Misses and the Mississippi States and those types of teams that's in the SEC. They're going to have to change their way of doing business, or they're going to take a hit even in the conference where the money's at. But they're going to have to, because what's going to happen also, Brandon? If I'm at Ole Miss and we're 5-6, or I'm at Florida and we have a losing season, and this man that the coach don't like me and I'm a backup, but I know I'm a good player and everybody else in the country know I'm a good player, then I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm going to go someplace where they're going to double what they paying me at this school. Or if I'm at a little school, let's say I'm at Georgia Southern, and I done rushed for 1,600 yards. And I got Georgia after me now. I got South Carolina after me now. And I got Georgia Tech. And I'm from North Carolina. Do you think I'm not caring about what school where I'm from? That don't matter. Which one of you's gonna pay me the most?
Yes, who's gonna pay the most?
And that's what it's like.
Who's gonna pay the most?
That's what it is. I think that's why Nick got out of coaching, man. This is not about prestige and how many natties you done won and all that. How much can you pay me? If I'm a high school kid and I'm a 5-star, I'm going to tell you real. If I was a 5-star athlete right now, today, I wouldn't care if it was Wisconsin and they offered me, we'll give you $6 million.
Yeah.
And I never seen snow in my life, and I ain't never been out of Florida. But if you're going to pay me $6 million, I'm going to play for you.
Yes. Yeah. You say, Marcus say, so how's it going to work? Is the Big Ten and SEC going to have their own playoffs and their own national championship? Yeah, that's what he's saying. It's a possibility.
That's a possibility. If you
look at just what you just said, look at the example he put for what you just said. Trevor Etienne.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what he did. Why sit around, don't get good coaching, and I got teams not only winning, but they're offering me more than what Florida offering me. I'll take it too. It ain't no Lord. Who cares that the Georgia and Florida is a rivalry? Just like his mama posted on Twitter. He's going to do what's best. She said her son is going to do what's best for her son, not what's best for Florida.
Yes.
People can shout at the game in Jacksonville, oh, he traded and all that. But look, he done got paid, and he's in a better program, and he can get himself better prepared for the NFL than he can in Gainesville. So he took that off of him. And there's more of that going to happen. And another thing, the SEC got 16 teams, and the Big Ten got 18 teams. Man, that's a lot of teams. Which means that's a lot of money.
Yep.
I'm going to watch.
I think, Oh no, go ahead.
I will be watching when USC play Michigan or UCLA plays Ohio State in a conference game in the Big Ten. When Texas plays, I don't know if they play Alabama or whoever they play, but whoever Oklahoma and them play at a big rival SEC team with tradition, my eyes going to be on the television. And I think that's going to be the eyes of the nation. And when you got eyes on the prize and ESPN looking for advertising dollars to pay that contract, that's going to be the focus. These two conferences, to be honest, is going to dominate the game so much that they can control the game.
Yeah. I mean, and what this has done currently, what the landscape of college football has done, I think it has leveled the playing field for the haves, because there was always the haves and the have-nots. It's just what it is. But now, to be in the haves, now you see what the price is. You're not boxed out of being in the haves. Now, with the right amount of money, now you know you can get in there. And now haves like Ohio State and Alabama, Georgia, they can't hoard all of the talent, because as you saw, Jamison Williams couldn't get no playing time in Ohio State. He left, he went to Alabama, still got paid.
Yeah.
So now those opportunities are there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you see what he say. Oh, we mentioned Notre Dame. He said with Notre Dame being independent, what does that leave them? Out. Yeah, Mr. Reed already said it.
Out. Them, they better get in the Big Ten. And that, because that model they own right now ain't gonna work, because this is this I can't explain it any clearer than this. If they don't join the Big Ten or the SEC, then you look at a school like Michigan. Michigan will probably make $10 million more than Notre Dame just by being in that conference, and Notre Dame don't be in the conference. That NBC contract that Notre Dame got, that don't pay the bills anymore, because that television contract is going to be distributing that money through the Big Ten. That's going to triple their amount of revenue. So if Notre Dame, that's just like Florida State. Florida State literally going to have to sue to get out of the ACC. And there's no assurances that they're going to be able to get into either one of those conferences. But they cannot be at this present situation in the ACC, because they're not going to they're going to get iced out. They're going to get isolated out of what matters, which is money.
Yes.
And playing for a national championship. They got to get in the SEC.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's it. That's it. So we're gonna leave that right there. We're gonna go back to the NFL a little bit, and we're gonna talk about just really quickly. Ain't gonna do it. Stay on it too long. We'll talk about the Travis Kelce and Justin Tucker situation. You know, this was very funny to me, very hilarious. You know, so Justin Tucker is trying to warm up the same routine he apparently has had for a decade or so, and they show the Chiefs kicker on the opposite side. He's doing the same thing Justin Tucker's doing, but he's on the opposite side as well. You know, so the Chiefs kicker's warming up over there where the Ravens are, just like Justin Tucker's over there where the Chiefs are. So this is no harm, no foul. But apparently, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes had an issue with this. So let's check out the video. See that this stuff like this right here, Mr. Reed, like Patrick kicking the tee, like Patrick's image has taken a slight hit this year. It has to. This is just me personally. I'm just saying his image before this season, I think was pristine, like, you know, because he's never been in trouble. He's never had a issue or anything like that. He was kind of like almost like Steph Curry. Steph Curry in his image, and whoever you could think of with their image, Tom Brady, whatever the image is, like he's squeaky clean. But that blow up he had when Kadarius Toney lined up offsides against Buffalo, I think his image did take a hit. Because it's only because of him, how he just kept going. Like he didn't stop. It's one thing to be heated and mad. We see Brady yell and throw tablets and curse out Josh McDaniels. Never think any less of him. We seen Steph Curry throw his mouthpiece and act the fool a little bit, but it is what it is. Patrick would not stop, so that took a hit. And now that right there, I don't know. And then Travis Kelce has always been a D-bag to me. Like he's always been that. So I'm not surprised by what he is. I call him. He's no longer Travis Kelce. His name is officially now Travis Swift, aka Mr. Visor. Peddling unsavory things to the masses for millions of dollars. But we're not going to go into that because, hey, for the right bag, you'd probably do the same thing, and so would I. But this right here, man, why they didn't do this to Roquan Smith? I wonder. Hey, man, Metabike, why you do this to Metabike? Do that to Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, it is a little intimidating factor in this league, man.
Yeah.
Man, you know why? I don't know what's up with Patrick Mahomes, but I blame it on State Farm commercials. That's probably what's going on.
Yeah.
It made Chris Paul go from a good guy to a guy that done played on 19 different rosters. It's those State Farm commercials, man. But this just, this is just the macho stuff, man. They're going to pick on the little kicker.
It is. Right.
Hey, you're on the outside of the field. You ain't supposed to be down here. And little kicker, you ain't got nobody down there wearing purple with them, so easy target, man.
Yeah, easy target. Easy target. And Justin Tucker's not about that. But I can't lie to you, man. If I'm in that situation and I'm on that field, I'm trying to warm up, me and Patrick or Travis gonna be nose to nose. Because this is the thing, Mr. Reed. You guys are not tough guys. You're not going to do anything. It's going to be hurry up and hold me back. It's going to be like a basketball fight. You're not going to throw any punches. You're not going to push. You're not going to shove. Nobody's going to risk getting thrown out of the game before the game starts. So I don't have to move anything. I don't have to do anything. I'll get there and I will stand there and I'll talk trash. I'll call him Mr. Visor. I'll call him Travis Swift to his face. I was like, hey, and then you could tell that he's protecting Patrick, and it's me, Kelce in front of me, and Patrick behind him, and I'm popping the gums. Patrick gonna be talking trash. I was like, what Kermit got to say? Come on, Kermit, what you gonna do? You gonna sell me some State Farm insurance, man? Come on. I would have had so much fun with that because they're not gonna do anything.
I'm gonna summarize this situation with this here, man. Any guy that's under 5'5" is always the guy. He might be driving a truck. He might even have a motorcycle. He might be on a Harley Davidson. Because a 5 foot below anybody, man, that's 5'5" and under, they the one that always got bullied.
This is true.
And now, in adulthood, they still angry from all that bullying. So these guys right now, they picking on the smallest guy on the field. Ain't nobody smaller than a kicker.
Yeah.
If Mr. Tucker went into the stands, would nobody know who he was? Not, they might know him by his face, but they would from where he look, he don't look like a football player. These guys doing that's what you call bullying.
It is.
Led by the quarterback who just in case something was to happen, Mr. Quarterback got his tight end right there next to him. If something was to pop off.
Of course. Yeah. When I saw this, I'm like, it's amazing. It took the Patriots a long time to be like unlikable. Like we talking about nationwide, worldwide. It took a long time for them to get to that point. They had won 3 titles and they still weren't to that point. He had won his 4th title, his 5th title. They still, wasn't all the way to that point. It wasn't until towards those last couple of years there that they were really, really, really hated and started to be what people were like, man, we hate them. They didn't like them because they won. The Chiefs have gotten there in less than half the time. Like, it's amazing. They've become unlikable seemingly overnight. And it's just not, and it's very unfair to blame any of this on Taylor Swift. Bless her heart. I think she's an excellent artist. I worked security for one of her concerts. I was supposed to be securing the place, but I was watching the show. And she put on an excellent, excellent show. She's an excellent performer. Showmanship is A+. She's great. And, as far as her being a sideshow, them showing her, that ain't why the Chiefs are unlikable or they're annoying. That ain't it. It was way before that. She just amplified what was already there.
Yeah. I think the guy in Houston had a little bit to do with it too.
Yeah.
I mean, not in Houston, in Miami. My bad.
Yeah.
Not Houston.
In Miami. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But seeing that stuff from those two, I'm like, man, come on, dude. I can't. Hey, you get no credit for that. You don't get any credit for that. Like, you don't, as Will Smith, who's 6'2", 200 plus pounds, does not get credit for slapping 5'9", 5'10", 160 pound, 150 pound Chris Rock. You get no credit for that. Yeah, you get no credit for that, man. Hey, if you want to get some credit, go slap The Rock. That's how you get some credit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So well, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, man. I just want to talk about that. And see, next we were talking about, and staying in that same game is Lamar Jackson. I mean, I don't know about you, but Lamar Jackson didn't look like himself in the AFC Championship game. He didn't look like himself. He looked like he was pressing, of course, but he would look very timid to be what he's always been. It's like he's been reading the papers. He's been reading the criticism. He's been reading he's not a quarterback. He's this, or all you got to do is keep him in the pocket because he can't throw from the pocket and stuff. Bill Polian said, or other athletes have said. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I think that Lamar, don't worry about what people say because it doesn't matter. It's a week-to-week league, Lamar. Wow. It's a week-to-week league. You can go from hero to GOAT and very fast. I mean, it's just what it is. What people say about you, negative or positive, should not matter because their opinion will change just like the wind. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Don't press. Don't change who you are. Don't change your style of play. He done heard criticism his whole career. So don't try to, hey, do what you do, but don't change what you do. So, and let's be real. Even if Lamar was to take Baltimore to the Super Bowl, they'd still be finding things to criticize him.
Absolutely.
You run too much on that play. Your decision making could be better. It'll always be some analyst with some bogus. This is what he didn't do, or this is what he didn't do.
Yep. Yeah. So, always. Yeah, I don't think I don't think there's anything that he can do that's going to stop criticism. Just continue to play your game. There's nothing he can do. He can win multiple Super Bowls and they're still going to have an opinion and talk. So just keep it moving.
Yeah. Get back to the big game next year, man. I want to see them make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, definitely. I would love to see a Baltimore-Detroit Super Bowl. That, man. Now people it already had a nickname. They say the reason they say that's part of the reason why the NFL changed the script so neither one of them could go is because they say it was going to be called the Fentanyl Bowl. which is hilarious to me.
I'll be real with you, man. I would like for the Jaguars to be built like this Lion team, even if they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. That offensive line they got is impressive, man. You build from the inside out. And then I'll tell you, they got a great offensive line, man. Even though what happened in the game, but early in that game, particularly for let's say the first two quarters, the first half, they were blowing San Francisco defensive front off the ball. Literally.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. I would not mind that at all, man. They have it's like they have a plan for the type of players they go after, how they want to develop them, the veterans they want to add to the mix. And it's just it's toughness, man. It's a toughness that they have about them.
They got identity, and they got the players that to carry it out, which we don't have. You want to be a physical team? Well, you got to be physical in the trenches. You can't be physical out at wide out. You got to be physical guard, tackle, center, nose tackle, defensive line. That defensive front got to be physical, just like the offensive line. And that's what the team here got to work on better.
Yeah. Got to work on it. So we're going to leave it right there. We're going to go into some NBA. And, man, these the Lakers. We was talking about the Lakers. And I know, he was like, oh, you talk about the Lakers. You talk about LeBron. Hey, it pushes. It get clicks. It's what it is. But I don't know what to call them. I don't, because you beat Boston, then you lose to the Houston Rockets. I don't get it. I don't get it. Now LeBron was doing I think it was an exit interview, and they was in the locker room, and he was about to go in, and the lady's like, all right, that's time. And he was like, man, he's like, I'm glad we stopped, because you could tell he was about to say something he probably was going to end up regretting. Now I'm very curious to know what he was going to talk about. And there's the whispers of, Darvin Ham, and how players are not getting along with him, and players having issues with Darvin Ham. They don't play no defense. It's amazing to me. So but yeah, that and the 65 the guys, I can't believe the amount of players that are protesting over the 65 game rule, man. It's amazing to me. I get it though. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, you eventually was going to have some criteria, something, in order to do this. They want these guys to play in these games, which the solution is, and this is to the players' credit, the solution is shorten the season. That's all you got to do. Shorten the season, because whatever they have against shortening it from 82 games, the Stars are playing whatever your shortened season is going to be already anyway.
Yeah. They don't want to lose that revenue, man. And I don't know. I'll say another thing. The one thing about the NBA players, they don't like their control to be infringed upon. And this commission, he slowly but surely is taking power back from the players. Implementing that 65 game rule and some other things that's going on. Changing the format of the All-Star. You got to be required this and required that. Well, David Stern set a lot of rules, including that you had to sit on the bench if you wasn't playing in a dress coat.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what my opinion is on this 65 games thing. I was a little upset because I didn't know that LeBron or AD was injured. So I'm getting set for I've been anticipating watching this Boston Celtic LA Laker game is advertised on TNT. And then I sit there and go through the warm-ups, and there's the AD wearing a $600, whatever, not playing. And then the announcer says that LeBron got a ankle injury and he won't play. Then I think where they play tomorrow night, the Lakers play the Knicks. And I think there's some report out already that neither one of those guys, neither AD nor LeBron is going to play in that game in New York. And I think the Knicks have won, 9 in a row if they hadn't won tonight. So, and the critics always don't say this, man. The critics have said this about the NBA. The critics said that the NBA is run by the players. Players do what they want, and the commissioner or anybody else in the league don't have enough power to overstate what their demands or what they want. But I don't know, man. I feel that if you're the MVP and you're averaging whatever it is, leading the league or near the top of the league, and you near the top of the league and rebounding, then if you play 60 games, what's the difference in not playing the 65? I mean, that's the kind of negativity I see in that rule. If you only could play 62 and not 65, and it's a technicality or something like that. But I don't know, man.
Well, I got a video here. I got some videos that I'm gonna show. I wanted to see what Draymond had to say because he caught some criticism for what he said, and this is, of course, Chuck had some stuff to say too as well. So fair use.
He's missing his 13th game tonight at Utah, which is game 2 of our doubleheader. And of course, it has brought up this conversation about qualifying for the regular season awards, in which you have to play 65 games. So, I mean, he's only got 4 other games left that he could miss.
He's going to miss more than 4 games.
I know.
He's definitely going to miss more than 4 games. But let me answer that question. These players got nobody to blame but themselves. The Players Association signed off on the deal. I thought it should have been 70 games, honestly, personally.
Rather than 65.
Yeah,
right?
1 in 65.
Like 70 games.
But these guys have put themselves in a situation where they didn't respect the game and started resting and load managing. And the NBA had to do something. These fans, man, they get to see these guys one time a year. They're paying all these monies for tickets. And these guys are making $30, $40, $50, $60 million. They need to play. It's unfortunate what happened to him, but I hear all these guys whining about, well, he's not fair. He's going to play.
It's a bad rule.
It's a bad rule. Yeah. It's a fair rule, in my opinion. 65 games, I told you, I thought it should have been 70.
I knew Chuck was gonna have that hot take right there. I knew before I even saw the video, clicked on it, anything. I said this is gonna be Chuck's take. I knew that from a while ago, man. But let's see what Draymond had to say real quick.
Joel playing tonight felt very much so because of the 65 game limit. Well, I think it's actually quite bullshit. Guys didn't face those rules before. But those same all-NBA teams, those same MVP awards lists, Defensive Player of the Year, those lists are the same. I once lost a Defensive Player of the Year award to Kawhi Leonard, and I think he played 51 games. In turn, you get Joel, who comes out there tonight, and he forces it. And Freak played with him and J.K. diving for the ball, but maybe it's not as bad if the knee isn't already banged up. I don't really bang with it. And now we got one of our premier faces in this league, the MVP of our league, possibly hurt for an extended period of time because he's forcing it.
I get both sides.
Joel playing tonight felt very...
Yeah, I get both sides.
But let me say, man, I don't think fans or anybody realize how hard it is to play a game on back-to-back nights. I know that they fly charter and all that.
Yeah.
But man, I don't think people realize it is I'm not trying to defend these guys at all, but man, it is not from a reporter standpoint to go from Chicago to Utah in a day is hard. And that just being a reporter, imagine they going up and down the court. Now, most of those teams will leave after the game, get to the hotel by 3:30 in the morning, and most of the time when they do a back-to-back, they don't do a shoot-around. But, you got team meetings probably like, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and then you get over to the arena about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon for a 7 o'clock tip-off. But I understand what the wear and tear of the game. I like what you said. I think the NBA front office from the commissioner got to come up with a way that season is not so taxing, man. I would have no problem for this league to shorten the season, start the season Christmas Day. And maybe if you want to extend it through the end of June, play the finals at the, say the final 2 weeks of June, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Play 70 games, not 82. But I think the problem is that I think the public feels that these guys are obviously making all this money, don't appreciate the money, don't want to work. And if I drove from Jacksonville to Orlando to watch the Lakers play the Magic, and AD and LeBron is not playing, I'd be upset. I would. Yes. I mean, I didn't drive all the way to Orlando to watch a Laker team playing basically with backups. So I understand because they're not going to cut the price of the ticket. And you paying full price for the ticket and you not seeing who you came to see. But I think the bottom line, when you're talking about load management and all that, I think the season is too long. And I think back-to-back games and all that, I think this is too much, I covered that league for 15 years, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. When you get off, and like my playing situation is totally different from theirs because they don't have to go through the airport and all that. They get on the charter flight and they're there, whatever it takes to get to city to city, they're there. But they still got to get on the bus. They still got to go to the hotel. They still got to check in, and they still got to go. They play the game. I didn't. I just sat and wrote. But man, from a reporter standpoint, I ain't never felt that tired. I used to say, how in the hell these boys go out here, them played in Memphis one night, and then in Chicago the next night, and trying to play at the same level. And you notice that on Thursday night they were diving after loose balls.
Mm-hmm.
The next night, you see the other team diving and they trying to attempt to dive, but they ain't diving. So I think that's the problem, man. The back-to-back schedule, the schedule is too grueling. They need to space the games out and cut the season down.
Yeah, that's the solution. Yeah, I think that's the solution. I think that's the best solution. I think that's the only way you're going to get any type of result. I think 70 games, cutting it down to 70 games, taking 12 games out, and reducing back-to-backs. Like, I wonder what's the average of back-to-backs played by a single team, and you could probably with cutting it to 70, you probably cut that in half.
Yeah. I say play a back-to-back set probably once or twice a month, if that many. But sometimes, boy, it's like, see, the problem is the East Coast, like if you're Eastern Conference team, you only play the Western Conference teams on the road once. So that's like a lot of times, like Oklahoma, we'll just say the Knicks. The Knicks will go to LA. They'll play the Clippers on Friday. Then turn around and play the Lakers the next night on Saturday night. Then they'll go up the coast and play Sacramento a night. They get a day of rest, which is basically a travel day. And then they play Sacramento. They play the Lakers that Friday night, and then they'll play Sacramento like that Sunday. I think the schedule is too grueling, man. Even for for a star, especially for an old veteran guy. That's why they wear down so quick.
14.
People starting to say, huh?
Oh, 14. Average back-to-back for a team is 14 back-to-backs.
Yeah, that's too many, man. It used to be worse than that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and it was worse than that. Yeah, but matter of fact, it said it used to be 19.3 per team. Now it's down to 14.
Yeah, and it's like you could go from anywhere, man. You could play Philadelphia on Wednesday night. Then you got to go all the way to Miami. I once remember a back-to-back that the Pelicans had. They played Indianapolis, and it was snowing. And then the next day they was in Miami, and it was like 78 degrees.
Yeah.
I said, so yeah, I mean, that schedule is grueling, bro. No, sometimes I say, well, man, I understand a little bit about Kawhi and his load management.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, so we're gonna leave it right there. Before we get out of here, this is what we're gonna end it on as we going and getting on up out of here. And I'm gonna let the stuff play while we going up out of here. So I'm gonna let you go a little bit on this, Mr. Reed, and I'm gonna chime in. Josh Allen had some things to say about the Jaguars front office, and I'm just telling you, Jaguar fans, I'm sorry, I gotta put it to you this way, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I mean, Josh seems to be in high spirits, but overall, it does not look good. And I'm gonna play this video real quick, and then I'm gonna let you take it, Mr. Reed. So see what Josh had to say. I think this is the right one. I'm pretty certain that this is the right one. So let's see.
I mean, obviously, for me in my career, man, I don't want to be a, guy from team to team. Like, I always wanted to be stationary, but, throughout the years of playing, you have to grow as well. And what I've grown to understand that the NFL is seeing it firsthand, that NFL is a business at the end of the day. So, I do what you do on the field because I love it, and I play, and I respect it, and I love my guys. I love the competitive nature. But at the end of the day, outside of that, it's business. And if you handle it or think about it any type of way, you will get tossed out of it. So for me, let's talk business. So let's do it.
Yep.
I mean, obviously.
So basically, Josh saying, hey, we need to talk. Let's talk business. They have not talked to him since the season ended. And that is piss poor.
Yeah, that's very bad, man. I mean, I call it a lack of respect to Josh Allen, because no way in the world that you have a guy who set the career sacks, your homegrown player, the player that you drafted, the player who loves Jacksonville, who want to be a part of whatever you building, and you don't have the courtesy or the decency to have a conversation to let him know and his reps know that you appreciate what he did and you want him back. That's not showing any sign of respect. And
yeah,
the thing, the Jaguars, I'll say this: the Jaguars, number one, and I've said this many times. The Jaguars got to be proactive, not reactive. You got to be proactive. If you serious about winning, you got to be proactive. And proactive means you don't go 5 weeks after the season when you know the number one thing you got to get done is re-signing this guy. And I don't know what it is, to be honest. Most teams don't do this. But you don't have a guy twisting in the wind thinking that, man, these guys may not be interested, because that's what to be honest, that's what's on his mind. They're not, I don't know what they're thinking. They act like they're not interested in me. Then that's not going to, Mr. Trent Baalke, if you understand, that's not going to lower his price of the man, because if he's got any type of agent, his agent already knows what his market price is, and if he don't get it from you, he's going to get it from someone else. Even if you got plans to put him on put a franchise tag on him, you still, this how stuff get contentious. I go back to Yannick and how that stuff went with him, and this is a trend that's been going on with this franchise over the last 5 or 6 years. You got to learn how to treat your star players, and you got to learn how to treat the players that you homegrown, because those players talk, and those players talk among each other. And if you can't treat your top defensive player right, who want to come here? I mean, who want to be a free agent and come here and you throw your guy under the bus, twisting in the wind, when all these players here and don't think they don't know it. So I blame it on Trent Baalke. That's who I blame it on.
Yeah. I feel that. Marcus say it's a lack of respect. Baalke wants to ruin the Jags and the fan base, and I feel like it's because of the clown allegations. I can see that, but this is my take on it, man. Baalke is who he is. He was who he is with the 49ers. We know what he is. We know how he is. So I think that, he takes blame, of course, but you know where I'm going. I'm going all the way to the top. This is Shad Khan's fault.
Yep.
This is Shad Khan's fault. This is his. This is his problem right here. For the fact that he doesn't have real football people around him to advise him on what to do, because he's just a fan. He doesn't know the inner workings of football, how it goes and what it does. I'm sure he knows way more now than he did before he bought the team. But still, you need a football guy. You need a football czar. You need a team president of football operations. Everything flows through this person, because Shad Khan is not that guy. Tony Khan is not that guy. Someone who can hold guys accountable. That's not Trent Baalke needs somebody to answer to. And the fact that you have not talked to Josh Allen, after seeing this right here, after seeing this by Josh Allen and him talking at the Pro Bowl, Shad Khan need to be on the phone with him right now. Be on the phone with Baalke, on the phone with whoever need to talk to, and get on the phone with Josh personally and reassure him that y'all want him and y'all want to get a deal done. He said y'all haven't talked. Why haven't you talked to this man?
Yeah.
You about to pay him. I would at least talk to him. Me and Josh would have been on my yacht many days, us talking, trying to see where his head at, what he wants to go, what he wants to do, and what direction we both want to move in, and what's agreeable so we can move forward, so we can build this team, and we want to win the championship like you set out to do in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, it's you hit it on the nail, man. Starts at the top with the owner.
Yeah.
And this another thing, this franchise got to be a little bit more PR conscious. You don't want this guy to go to. I mean, I know this is, it is what it is. It's the Pro Bowl. They playing touch football or whatever. But all eyes are in Orlando, and it's not the games, the touch football games. It's what all these players are saying. The messages is getting out, and you got to know how to protect your brand. This franchise do not know how to protect the brand, man. I don't like Jerry Jones, but I'll tell you what, Jerry Jones know how to protect his brand.
You better believe it. You better believe it. I believe he'll lay down his life to protect that Cowboys brand. I believe that. There's no question about it. Robert Kraft protects the Patriot way. He protects their brand. You know, the Steelers, they protect their brand. You're right. Yeah. You said this before we came on air. 31 other teams would not do this.
Oh, no, not no.
And it's a shame.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even, hell, I mean, we didn't put a time clock on a meeting. You just want to let his representative know, hey, the same thing Trent Baalke said in that press conference. He needs to hear that. His management team needs to hear that. He's not going anywhere. He had a great year. We want him here. We want to keep our own here, and we're gonna have to. You know, that's even before the numbers start tossing out. But these guys have got to. I don't know what their thinking is, man. I haven't seen this play out before with Jan, and I don't know what it is. I hope it ain't racist, but I don't know what it is. But these guys got to start knowing how to treat players who earn the right to get big money deals. You got to treat them differently than you would do other players if they've earned that right.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't treat LeBron the same way you treated the sixth man on the Lakers.
Yeah.
You don't treat a guy with 17 and a half sacks like he just another player on the team. And that's what he's talking about. You know, I just want to talk. He shouldn't have to say it. I mean,
he shouldn't have to say that.
Yeah, it's embarrassment to the organization because everybody in the league don't think these. You think the Houston Texans is not listening to that conversation? Man, damn, they act like they don't want them. Okay, well, if they keep that, okay, let them be a free agent. Don't franchise tag them. Let them go in the open market and see what kind of offer we'll come out with. I mean,
yeah. Shoot, Tennessee, Indianapolis, and Houston are the first three that's on the phone if he becomes available because they seen him up close. Come on, man. Yeah.
I predict if he go in the open market, he's gonna sign with a team in that conference in that division. I don't know which one it'll be, but he that'll be his revenge if that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I could definitely see him in Houston. I could see him in Houston. Oh yes. Yes. Oh, yes. So, but man, we're going to leave it right there. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social medias. You can follow Mr. Reed on Twitter. And thank you for watching whenever, wherever, however. And thank you for making me a part of your day. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, man, until next time, we will be back with more live streams, more videos. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out. Enjoy your sports.